Welcome back again to lesson 4 in our study of the proof of God by his miracles. On this particular lesson, we want to discuss those who experience miracles in the Bible, in particular for this lesson, the Old Testament. We're going to categorize the miracles that those in the Old Testament experienced. We talked about Moses. We talked about Elijah. In the last lesson, we mentioned Abraham. We mentioned Noah. So in this lesson, what we're going to do is we're going to categorize the miracles. And we're going to talk briefly on what do we mean by walking in the realm of the miraculous. But for this particular lesson, we're going to talk about the categories of the miracles that they experienced, the category of the miracles that they experienced. We're going to talk about Job, and because we want to reiterate back again and say that there is no one in the Bible, no character in the Bible who has had an encounter with God but did not receive a miraculous event or did not have a miracle. Whether or not that miracle is a revelation of knowledge, whether or not it's an endowment with the Word of God, whether or not it's opening up a Red Sea or being fed by ravens, all of these are miracles. Now, some of these miracles are miracles that fall under various categories. Some miracles were based upon the event that was occurring at the time. And then there were other miracles that were based upon the event and the divine providence of those who were involved in the events. It had something more to it. And so we're going to talk about these categories of miracles. And when we get finished with these categories, discussing this, we're going to let you get the study guide and go down and participate in the activity, the learning activity, identifying categories of miracles. This is going to be the topic and the name of this particular activity. Now, on our category of miracles, we have categories A through F. And category A is miracles of provision and preservation. B is miracles of guidance. C, miracles of judgment. D, miracles of revelation. E, miracles for destiny and purpose. And C, miracles of deliverance and destiny. So we're going to go down and we're going to talk about, when we say a miracles of provision and perseverance, what we mean by that is the miracle that was was used by God to provide a need for the people of God who were experiencing it. And we say perseverance or preservation, we mean that it was to preserve something, or preserve some people, or preserve some nature, a nation, or preserve some root, some generation, that to keep them from dying out. So there are miracles that have purpose in them, provision and preservation, and provision and perseverance. B, miracles of guidance is when God when God told Abraham to get out of the land where he was and go to a place that he would show him. C, miracles of judgment, when God sent judgment down on Korah and those rebels who fought against Moses, when God judges their enemies miraculously, when God sent judgment down on the Egyptians to miraculously deliver the Israelites from Egypt's bondage. Then there are miracles of revelation, like on the Mount of Transfiguration, where God came and showed that Jesus was the one to be served. He was greater than Moses and Elijah. Miracles of revelation, when God brings revelation. And E would be miracles of destiny and purpose. And miracles of destiny and purpose. I would think that the children coming out of Egypt in the Exodus was a miracle of destiny, because they were destined to go to the promised land. And they had purpose. It was not God's purpose for them to die in Egypt. Then there are miracles of deliverance and our destiny. Deliverance and our destiny. I would think that would be also be the children of Israel in Egypt's bondage. So we'll take these categories, and the instruction says on the study guide, what category does each of the following miraculous events belong? Write the letter on the line for the category you select. Note, some of these may fit into more than one category. Okay, so we're going to go to down to the list. Now, you probably should have a relatively a basic knowledge of the Bible and some of the characters we talk about. But if you don't, then you can go to these characters in the Bible and read about them. If you don't have that kind of a knowledge of these characters in the Bible. So we'll just read down, and I'll try to give you scriptures so that you can read up on them. You can start this exercise tonight, or you can just listen to the class tonight and then do the exercise and come back on this when this is posted online, and you can just come back and review it. All right, so let's go down here, look at this list, and see the categories that we are going to, the events that we're going to talk about, the miracles that we're going to talk about, and let's see if we can categorize them. All right, let's take it right now. Let's take a look at this. All right, I want you to pay close attention to the list, and let's listen to it, and let's see how it comes out. All right, so I'll call a miracle, and then we will go to the categories, and we'll see where they fit in. The healing the bitter waters of Mariah. Okay, so that's found in Exodus 15, 23 through 25. I would say that is a miracle of provision and preservation. In other words, God was trying to preserve the Israelites and provide for them at the same time. The manna from heaven, Exodus 16, 14 through 35. This was a miracle of provision, where God was providing food for them. At the same time, he is preserving them that they may be able to go all the way through and come out victorious on the other side. The water from the rock. This was a miracle of provision and revelation as well. The death of Nadab and Abihu, a miracle of judgment and justice. God put his judgment on them because of what they did against God. Now, then we'll go to the burning of the congregation of Taberah. That's in Numbers 11:13. That was a miracle of judgment. The death of Korah, Dathan, and Abiram in Numbers 16:31 through 35, a miracle of judgment. Aaron's rod that budded in Numbers 17 and 8, a miracle of revelation and a miracle of divine providence. The water from the rock in Numbers 27 through 11, a miracle of divinity and provision. The lifting up of the serpent in the wilderness will be a miracle of deliverance and preservations. Deliverance and preservation. Deliverance, preservation, and revelation. It was revealing to them and giving them a prophecy of who the Lord is and how the Lord would deliver them, and how they would be preserved, that not all of them would die in the wilderness by the biting of the serpents. The parting of the Jordan, it was a miracle of destiny and a miracle of destiny. In other words, God was making sure that Israel went into the promised land. The fall of Jericho, a miracle of destiny. Joshua 6, verse 6 through 25. The sun and the moon standing still. Joshua 10, 12 through 14. A miracle of destiny, a miracle of revelation, a miracle of deliverance from their enemy. So this is how we do this. Then we take the numbers of the miracle categories and put them on the line next to these. Now, the ones that we have on the study guide are different from these, but you're to do the same thing with the ones that are on the study guide that we just did with these. The ones that are on the study guide are, number 1, Job healed and given back his possession. Number 2, Abraham had a child when he was too old. What kind of miracles? Noah receiving instructions on the ark. Elijah fed by ravens. That's number 4, pardon me. Number 5, Moses and the Red Sea. Number 6, Ezekiel's revelation and his understanding. Number 7, Nebuchadnezzar saw the 4th man in the fire. Number 8, Joshua led the march around Jericho. Number 9, Amos received revelations of the word of the Lord. Number 10, on the day of Pentecost, speaking in tongues. Number 11, the Exodus. What kind of miracle is that? Number 12, the receiving of the law on Mount Sinai. Number 13, the birth of Isaac. Number 14, Elijah's prayer that controlled the rain. Number 15, the stopping of the sun and the moon for the children of Israel. And number 16, the confusing of the tongues at the Tower of Babel.